What is going on, everybody? We got another customer ride here. We'll see if we've got a reaction or some more ride-along videos. Stay tuned. Just push it on the back and then grab it.
It's probably taking you out to 417. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, whichever way it thinks is fastest. Looks like 417, yeah.
Just gets backed up just a little bit at that stop sign right there. But
yeah, it looks like it's all tracking clear right now.
awesome. Meeting our kids over at the parks today.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Hey, at least at Epcot there's alcohol.
Yes. Yeah. So that when your kids ask you to go with you, that usually means will you pay for everything?
Yeah.
That's what that typically. But yes, we can drink around the world. That we can do.
It's definitely helped me enjoy the frequency with which we go to Disney parks myself. As long as I get my time at Epcot, I can get my Viking coffee or something.
That's where we're headed. We're heading to Epcot.
Very nice.
So that's why we usually try to get dropped off at the boardwalk, and we just walk in the back entrance there.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
They've never given us any problems getting dropped off there, so.
Sounds good. Let's see what happens. Hell, I can just show them my annual pass too and be like,
There you go. Yeah. I don't know if you've done it before. They just, typically when they open, they come out to see you at the gate. You just say Uber.
Oh, yeah,
They usually just whoop.
Yeah, it's a very common set of stops. All celebration.
I would bet between Disney and the airport.
So I'm actually pretty glad that I avoid them quite well.
Those areas?
Yeah. It seems to be the strategy of a lot of rideshare drivers to just kind of wait. But that has never been a lucrative option to me. It's kind of like the driving equivalent of sitting in a cubicle.
Right.
I've always had better luck just driving around and grabbing people.
Grab people.
Stay on the move.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had a rider with me that said he can't really do that because gas is too expensive, and I just kind of giggled.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
Do you
well,
notice what I'm driving?
if you're doing this kind of work, you probably shouldn't be in a gas car.
Yeah. At least a hybrid.
Hell, even that. I mean, I don't have an engine or transmission, so no oil changes or anything else a hybrid has to worry about.
Yeah. Good point.
Most hybrids barely get 30, 40 miles on their electric battery anyway, so if you're driving as much as me, it's a moot point.
So how long during the day can you go without having to stop and charge?
And this car, it's not as long as the new one. It's like 200 miles.
Okay.
So I don't really have a solid time on that because one trip can get me down pretty low.
Okay.
Or I could be doing a bunch of local stuff that just, I'm driving forever because I'm at lower city speeds. The way I drive with the style of ride I look for, I spend more time doing longer distance stuff.
Yeah.
I just grabbed a guy from Lake Wales and dropped him off here at the VA, and I left there probably around 80%. I'm down at about 43 now.
Okay. So are there enough charging stations around the area?
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Any charging concern is really a thing of, like,
The past?
5-6 years ago. I mean, these are just around us now.
Wow.
And they even show you how many are open. We've taken our Model Y from California to Florida and back several times. I mean, all these red dots are Tesla chargers.
Awesome.
The infrastructure's there. There's no more range anxiety, especially because your car knows where they are. So you're never going to be in a situation where you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be around chargers.
I think you're going to have to make a left up here.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, I'm not driving.
So do the superchargers make that big of a difference?
In what way?
I mean, do they just give you a quicker charge?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're road tripping, like, across states, you're only going to be stopped for maybe, 10, 15 minutes at the most.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, and if you're filling up, you're looking at maybe 25, 30 minutes. Most people can charge at home, so wake up. Friggin' Audi drivers.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just people, period.
Yeah. Reading text messages.
Yeah, exactly. The amount of people that are buried in their phone. And
Yeah.
I usually will flash people to get their attention with the lights, and I've realized that doesn't work a lot because people are down here.
Yeah, they're looking down.
They're not even on there.
I'm amazed. We've only lived here for about 4 years, but I'm still amazed at the amount of people that hold their cell phones up to their heads.
Oh, I know.
As they're driving.
I see this a lot.
Yeah.
Where they're like holding their phone on their wheel.
Yet it's illegal.
Yeah. I'll honk at them and just look at them and be like, really? Come on.
So you're originally from here, or?
Yeah, I was born and raised here. I actually just got back though. My wife and I bought a house in Haines City back in August.
Okay.
I've been living in San Diego, California for the last 11 years.
Oh, wow.
So now I can actually afford to do stuff.
That's what I was about to say. Big difference. I mean, San Diego is beautiful, but...
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that maybe 60%, 70% of the year in Florida is basically San Diego.
Okay.
Just a flatter San Diego. I mean,
Yes.
weather-wise, climate-wise, it's really the summers here that are pretty brutal, which you guys been here long enough to see.
Yeah. Well, we lived in Georgia before this. So
Oh yeah, so you're no stranger to the humidity and all that. Yeah, it's been funny over the last decade, especially since I started doing this work in like late 2019. Just hearing the amount of people that will talk trash on Florida, and it just kind of makes me laugh. I'd be like, really? Have you actually been there?
Yeah.
Most of them haven't, or they visited for like a weekend. I was like, okay, I get it. You know, if you happen to go in the summer and you got blasted with that sauna level humidity, I can understand.
Or you were dumb enough to do Disney during the summer.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, but it's like our annual pass, I think, is even blacked, or it's either Universal or Disney that's blacked out for most of the summer.
Oh, is it?
We're only really interested in Volcano Bay during the summer times, and I think that's the one that's mostly blacked out because it's so busy.
Is that the Universal?
Yeah, the Universal Water Park.
Yeah.
We've heard really good things about it. I haven't been able to go yet. We're hoping to check it out on Sunday.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the weather's gorgeous now.
Yeah, we're in that perfect like 70s to 80s, sunny. We're actually going to a boat show on Saturday or tomorrow, and then hopefully Volcano Bay on Sunday. So it should be a fun weekend.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we're just hanging around tomorrow. My daughter and son-in-law are visiting from Pennsylvania, so this is like heaven to them right now.
Oh, I
because
bet.
It's still like cold up there, but Sunday morning we're gonna drive over to Cocoa Beach and see the sunrise, and then go get breakfast over there and just hang out.
Heck yeah, good times. If you want a really good spot to eat in Cocoa Beach, go to a place called Coconuts on the water.
Really?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Is it open for breakfast or just lunch?
Ooh, you might got me there. I think it might be a lunch and dinner place.
All right.
If it is open for breakfast time, definitely recommend. If you're there later in the day, their food is incredible. Good drinks, and it's right there on the water.
Nice.
I'm sure there are some good breakfast spots out there too, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're like a open at noon or 1 kind of a place. But they've been there for like 50 years.
Oh wow.
We got recommended it by a local in Cocoa when we were leaving the parking lot. So we had dropped my parents off at the Cape Canaveral because they were going on a cruise.
Oh,
and
nice.
we were walking the beach a little bit, just getting some air as we waited for this little store to open called the Dinosaur Store, which is also an incredible place that will make you go broke really fast. Like genuine fossils, all kinds of really cool stuff. Apparently above it is the actual museum, like a natural history museum.
Well, that's cool.
I need to go back and we got to go try that out. But
yeah, my boss did the opposite. He lived up here in Winter Park. Is that the name?
Yeah.
Winter Park, and he just moved to San Diego.
oh wow,
Yeah, did the opposite thing.
I was doing all right out there. It's kind of a tough place now. The crime's gotten really bad. It's extremely expensive. Not to even tack on the fires.
Yeah, we just went out for a works trip for a company that we do a lot of work for. And where'd we stay? It was a Hyatt. It started with a Z. I think it was in Carlsbad. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Carlsbad is beautiful. Oceanside, Carlsbad. It's really a nice area.
Yeah, I was sitting up on the high hills, and you can see the ocean way out.
Oh yeah.
From there, fog set up in the mornings. But we went and played golf down at Steel Canyon.
Very nice.
Have you heard of that one?
No, I know of Torrey Pines in around La Jolla.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of Steel Canyon though. That's a new one.
Steel Canyon was south of San Diego and then a little bit in.
Oh, okay.
It was really kind of cool because it had tee boxes that were 500-600 feet in elevation.
So I might have been like closer to Rancho San Diego or
Maybe, yeah.
Vineland maybe or
Yeah, it was probably from Carlsbad. It was probably almost an hour drive.
yeah.
For us. And the one guy was with us was from that area, and he goes, "Man, we're almost to the border."
Yeah.
Tijuana for lunch, and
Yep.
no, that's all right.
I lived pretty much throwing distance from the border at one point. I lived right on that highway, the 905,
Oh wow.
that runs along the southern stretch that has exits going straight to the border. Had a little apartment down there. That was my buddy and I's first time living off base.
Oh, that's what I was about to ask.
Yeah.
Were you in the service? That's
Yeah,
why
we're
you-
Navy.
All right. Well, thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. It's pretty much the only reason I ended up in California. I was able to check that off my list. I didn't really plan to spend a whole decade there, and I mean, up until the COVID years, it was fantastic. I mean,
Okay.
and also for the majority of that, Uncle Sam was paying my rent.
Yeah.
Once I was tasting that cost of living completely on our own, we were like, oh boy, little basic 2-bedroom apartment was about $2,000 a month.
Wow.
The house that my wife and I lived in for the last 4 years before we actually got here was about 700 square feet. It was over 100 years old. No insulation, washer, dryer, anything for about $2,000 a month.
Wow.
Now, if you
Air
try to rent it, it's closer to $3,000.
Wow.
So it's insane.
What part of San Diego is this? Jason. I know it's north of San Diego. It starts with a D. They're right on the coast. I think it starts with a D. I can be wrong.
Man, I have not been out of California long enough to not just know.
Yeah, I'm probably saying the wrong one. So.
Well, going up, yeah, I mean, you have in the San Diego area, you have like Imperial Beach or IB, Mission Beach, La Jolla. Going up beyond that, you get into like
Del Mar.
Del Mar. Okay,
Del Mar.
yeah, that makes sense. See, I should have immediately known Del Mar because I was gonna get into Encinitas and Del Mar. That's where the fairgrounds are.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful spot.
Yeah, East Del Mar. I mean, they're enjoying it, I guess. I don't know.
Del Mar's a bit more pricey too. It's getting a little bit, as the kids would say, bougie.
Yeah.
A little fancy. It's rare you'll find a house, especially any modern built house, for any less than $2-3 million.
No, they ended up buying a house that was like half renovated.
Mm.
So they had to pay this, I won't quote the amount, ridiculous amount for the house. And now have to finish renovating it.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I guess.
And I mean, getting through the permits and regulations out there, I hope they're able to do it
Yeah.
in a reasonable amount of time.
My whole thought behind that was, hey, if someone quit remodeling it, that's where my questions would come up.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, what was the reason?
Yeah.
Did they find something they probably, like, is the foundation okay?
Yeah. We enjoyed it though. Like I said, Carlsbad was beautiful. One night we ate down on the ocean at a dinner event. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I've joked with a lot of folks that have ridden with me that I'm like, California is amazing to visit for like a week or two.
Yeah.
Enjoy all the beauty, the food, the climate, the beaches, all the spots to see, and then come back again later.
Yeah, my uncle is a Cali boy, but he lives out in the desert. He lives up in Lancaster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, which is not a pretty area. But hey, he's not going to leave there.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, the different breadths of like landscape and areas where you can get into, from little beach towns to straight up desert highlands.
Yep. I did a bunch of work up in Sacramento, and that's even a different look.
It is. I remember the first time I was in Sacramento, it looked completely different than I expected. Because at the time of year I went, everything was like yellow and deserty and flat. I was like, wow, this is the opposite of what I pictured. My brain, I think, was substituting in like images of like San Francisco, the Bay Area, and just expecting it to be kind of copied and pasted in Sacramento. That was not it.
I do a good bit of DoD work, and we did the Navy base in Mechanicsburg.
Mm.
I don't know if you've ever been to that one.
No, I haven't.
That's it's way inland, which was odd for me. And then I did Great Lakes Naval Base.
Oh, yeah, very familiar.
Yeah,
We all are, yeah.
Now, did you get inducted there? Or?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was at RTC up in Great Lakes.
Yeah. I had.
We
no
called
idea.
it Purgatory.
Yeah, because it's not in a great area. Northern Chicago, it's not the prettiest area.
Nope. And all you ever saw outside the windows in the barracks was just like this hazy white sort of color that made it feel like you were just in like some void. It was really funny. I also went, from like December into January, February, so it was just snow, ice.
I wanted to ask you real quick. So does the car make the decision to move lanes?
Yep.
That's so why.
Since I picked you up, it's been driving itself.
He's not driving.
That's what I mentioned when you were saying you think we have to go left, and I was like, yeah, we do. I'm waiting for the car to make the decision.
That's cool.
Yeah, one of the things that I do is I'm going to prove out the concept of a RoboTaxi, and I have measured its progress over time. I have a YouTube channel that covers the more exciting conversations, but also the more data-heavy focus on how it's actually improved, or even in some cases gone the other way and regressed a bit in some areas.
So Lake Nona has a autonomous taxi called Beep, but we never see it. Yeah, so if you go, you've got the Wave Hotel, and there's a parking deck right in front of the Wave Hotel, and they've got them all parked down below there.
Interesting.
Like I said, it's called Beep, but it only supposedly runs a certain trek.
Yeah.
And we've never seen it.
See, I had a customer that I picked up from the Cape who said they were certain that they were in a completely autonomous Tesla with no driver. And I told him, well, that's definitely not Tesla, because you can't do that yet. You have to have a driver here ready to take over. The camera's watching me. But maybe it was like a Waymo, but they're actually not here until next year. Apparently Waymo's coming to Miami, which I'm excited for. But this Beep thing, now I'm curious, because I would love to do some comparative content and like see how it is compared to Tesla, and eventually when Waymo comes here. Because Waymo's a really big player. They've sort of been pioneering truly driverless cars.
It's so that's what it looks like.
Oh, that looks so weird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember that. Thank you for telling me. I'm gonna have to do some investigating.
Yeah. So like I said, if you want to see them, they're parked in the parking deck right in front of Wave Hotel.
Okay.
So
sounds like some content opportunity.
Yeah, there you go.
How does this compare?
I saw one the other day, but I don't think it was a Beep. It was a black VW bus looking. The new looking VW buses.
Oh yeah.
And it was an autonomous driving machine.
Wait, you're talking about the ID Buzz, like the new, like the remake of the '70s bus?
Yeah. It's little. Yeah, it's like half the size.
Interesting.
And it was right there on Lake Nona Boulevard.
Okay, so I need to do some poking around Lake Nona. There's some stuff happening around there.
Yeah.
I actually saw the more consumer edition of that Volkswagen bus at the Florida Mall. They had a really cool initial design for that VW bus, or the ID Buzz as it was going to be called. It might actually be called, because it looked so good, so reminiscent of the 70s bus.
Yeah.
And then they changed the design and just kind of gave it the colors of that bus, but on like one of their VW cargo vans.
Oh.
And I'm like,
yeah, because it squared off.
Yeah, it totally killed it for me.
I did see it, yeah.
The original artwork, if you look up like the original concept design for the ID Buzz, it was so cool. It just screamed like retro 70s, but now I was excited.
Oh.
And then
you and Fluffy.
Yeah, Legacy Auto does what Legacy Auto does. They show something cool and then they go with something vanilla.
Is it running? Because like I said, I haven't seen it recently, so that's why. So is Lake Nona Beep, is it running? So it's got an app, and it will show you where it's supposed to pick people up, and it says the shuttles operate daily, pick up and drop off, are only available at the designated stops.
I think because we don't live on
close enough
the designated road.
Okay, but it does have that. It does have the route.
The street, but you notice it cuts off right there.
Okay,
so there's no continuation.
All right, well maybe that's what it is.
I also wouldn't be surprised if you need the app set up and then maybe they start to wake up upon request.
Oh, there you
if you're going to the right spot.
Because we're close enough. So what it does, it just takes you right around Lake Nona, Boxy Park, that whole area is all it does. But it'd be great for us because it's a 15-minute walk over to Boxy Park, and not that that's bad, but
it's cool. It takes the place of like a bespoke transportation, like a bus route, which makes a lot of sense versus it needing to be able to do what this does, just going all over the place.
And then there's rumor that there is a aviation company right there in Lake Nona that is going to build an autonomous hovercraft to the airport.
Now that would be exciting to see.
So like a taxi service.
Well, and hopefully it's not loud as hell.
Yeah, good point.
That's one of the I know, and you probably would have more understanding of this too, just being part of DOD, but when a lot of people fantasize about flying cars, I'm like, yeah, would you want somebody landing a helicopter next to your house every day?
That's what it sounds like.
You would need like some very impressive maglev infrastructure or something, because you can't just have a car that can do it and nothing to repel against.
Yeah.
And you definitely, we don't have any anti-grav technology or anything to make it nice and quiet.
I was down at Eglin, and when I was doing a job at Eglin, I didn't know that Eglin does a lot of the F-35 training for our foreign allies that buy the F-35. So we got to where we were in an operations control building, which was right at the beginning of the tarmac or takeoff strip. They were doing the vertical takeoff.
Oh yeah.
And it is so loud.
Oh yeah.
Because the noise is only going straight down, right?
Yep.
And so it just
reverberating off the ground.
But one of the funny stories was a new colonel, I guess, had taken over, or general had taken over the Air Force Base there, which I guess Eglin, land-wise, is the largest Air Force base that the military has. But anyway, there's an area just north of Eglin called Niceville.
Oh yeah.
And Niceville is, it's just loaded with ex-military people. Well, anyways, they got all together and they got mad about at one time they were allowing the F-35s to come over the top. And when the F-35s bank, they make this high-pitched screech.
Yep.
And so they didn't like it. And so they got it passed that could be no longer part of Eglin Air Force Base's routes. And so the colonel said I guess he went for like a month having them all turn right at the edge of Niceville. Just to be petty. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But we were there, and they had they strapped down one of the C-135s that are the gunships, and they were testing out some new howitzer platforms. So we got to sit there and watch them shoot the pieces of rail downrange.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was. We had a good time there.
And probably my best experience in the Navy is when we were doing some workups off the coast of San Diego, and one of them was our combat qualifications and our ship readiness, and we would basically, like, these massive wooden crates off of the ship, aircraft carrier Carl Vinson, and we would go around, and there were probably like maybe 8 or 12 of these things, and we were all manned at the 50 cal stations around the ship, and I was starboard aft, so I was in the right rear of the ship. And what was cool about that is I also had the SEALs training next to me on the Barrett 50 and the 241 bipod, so those were already loud. But as we're coming around, we hear the CO come over, and I don't remember exactly what he said because we were just all hyped. We had our little foamies in, trying not to go deaf, but it sounded like he said, "Light them up." And I just start to feel and hear the vibrations of the 50 cals going from the bow down, port and starboard, until it was like, it's basically the second it came in view, you had to go and try not to jam the gun. And we did a couple of rounds of that. It was just one of the most exhilarating things. Like, you were just ready for someone to like bust the gate open so you could just go crazy. And we had a pretty vulgar saying to keep the gun from dying. Die, mother effer, die. Was the way you keep the gun from actually locking up. Because if you just sprayed it, you eventually would jam it.
Yeah.
So you had to have a certain way of firing to keep it from
now,
jamming.
Did you guys have, I don't know what they call it, the Sea-Whiz or whatever the thing is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty awesome to watch.
Yeah, I've only I never saw it because they do those operations so fast, and that thing will dump its ammo in seconds.
Wow.
Because
it just puts up a steel curtain, right?
Essentially, yeah. It's a point defense system that basically is meant to intercept incoming projectiles.
Yeah.
And it's just pinpoint accurate, super fast, and they call it the Whiz for a reason, because when it fires, it's literally zzz.
That's so cool.
It's insane.
So cool. Well, that'd be fun being on an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, that was the highlight of my career. Most of my time I spent underneath, down below, because I was a G3 ordnanceman, aviation ordnance. So I dealt with all the bombs and missiles for the aircraft, which I was really cool. We were part of the teams that built them. Quick strike mines, everything. Putting them together, managing the magazines. We were sleeping on Maverick missile cans.
That's neat.
It was cool. Most of it was rather boring because we were in port and we're mostly just trying to find things to do, which really sucked. There was a lot of dumb busy work and stuff, but when we were out to sea, or when we were like in Fallon, Nevada, doing bomb quick strike training with the fighter pilots and all that, those were some of the highlights, because we're seeing how fast, like an assembly line, we could pump out these bombs.
NASCAR.
Yeah. Yep, it's you had somebody on the nose, somebody on the tail, fuse going in, set screws, you had a guy inspecting, moving on. It was really cool.
That way they could turn and burn.
Yep. And if we got it done fast enough, we were able to actually go out and watch them do the test drops and their practice sorties where they would drop anything from dumb bombs to smart bombs, the JDAMs from the Mark-80 Ford dummies. Because some of them are just air guided, you know, just based on their airfoils, and some of them, like the JDAMs, they're actually precision guided with GPS. It's just a lot of really cool stuff.
When I was working at the Pensacola Navy base, we never saw it, but you would hear it when they would do live ordnance.
Yep.
It sounded like somebody running across your roof.
Yeah.
You know, I just heard, you know, you're like, wow, what is that?
Yeah, that's actually where I went to A school. Was there
really?
in Pensacola, Florida? Yep.
Yeah.
That's where the aviation, Navy and Marines go for their training.
That's I mean, there's a lot of history at that base, right? Isn't that where they did the practices for bombing Japan off the aircraft carriers?
It may have been. I'm a little dry on some of that history.
Yeah. When they were taking those small bombers and they figured out how to get them to go off of the aircraft carrier.
Oh yeah, they had to lighten them up and everything.
Yeah, they did that in Pensacola.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I spent a good amount of time there, which is kind of cool because I was living in Texas at the time, you know, shipped up to boot camp in Great Lakes, and then got to come back to Florida, Pensacola. You know, we would jokingly call the whole region Floribama. I was like, this isn't really Florida, not where I'm from.
Well, that's why I call it the Redneck Riviera.
Yeah.
That's why that whole panhandle.
But it was a good time. It was cool to be back, and then I was off to San Diego. I was kind of hoping I'd get Japan, but I wasn't upset about San Diego.
Did you ever go over to McGuire's when you were in Pensacola? It was an Irish pub. They had there.
I don't think I ever did, actually.
That was really good.
I might have missed out on that.
That's all right.
I was pretty hyper fixated on the work. I didn't really leave base much until my dad brought my car up and I figured out there was like a Planet Fitness not too far away because I really wanted to go back to like a private gym versus the base gym. Alrighty.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'm over here quite a bit. Up until right there, the car did all the work. What'd you guys think?
That's cool. I thought it was awesome.
Did it feel pretty natural?
Did it ever make you nervous?
No.
Yeah. She works for Travelers Insurance. So
man, I almost wish I had time to prod your opinions on all of it too.
Yeah, because that's obviously they've got to insure that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that they are not classed as a 3, 4, or 5 level autonomy, because right now it is on the driver, just like a cruise control system. You know, I'm responsible for it and anything that happens. But when they do go into that truly driverless state, you're right.
I don't know if you can drive this over here.
No, actually, this will work.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much. Have a great day.
It was fun nerding out with you guys. Hope you have a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, nerding out. That's it. Yeah, look up Beep.
Yeah, I definitely will. You got it. You just got to push at the same time. Perfect.
Cool. Thanks, man.
My pleasure. That was a really fun drive. Really enjoyed them as customers. I hope you guys did too. I am looking forward to a whole lot more of those sorts of reactions where people are just kind of comfortable and, not really bothered by the idea of a self-driving car. But even more than that, I'm excited about Beep. Finally, I've got like an inkling of what maybe some people have been talking about but didn't know the name of. So I will be checking that out. Let me know if you're excited for me to go investigate Beep in Lake Nona and do some comparative autonomous content and see how it does. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I know I would be geeking out. I'll record it anyways, but I hope you guys are excited for that. I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.